Hello and welcome everyone to another fun and exciting episode of Quick Album Reviews. I'm the Frost CJ Metal, and today I'm coming down upon A Frost and Farewell by Frantic Disruption. Hi, sorry to disrupt you, sir, but I just wanted to know if you had any spare quarters. What? No, why would I have spare quarters? Who the fuck carries spare quarters around with them? What do I look like, a change machine? Now go on and get. Sorry for that disruption there. I don't know what happened there. That was kind of weird. I don't know who the fuck that was. Anyways, now this review is actually of an EP, not an album, just in case any of you cared.
I think not.
Fantastic. Then let's proceed, shall we? Now, this EP was released in 2019. And it is a progressive / melodic death metal EP that is composed of 6 tracks. Or 3 if you exclude the 3 instrumental tracks. The instrumental tracks are the same as the first 3 tracks, just, well, you know, wink wink. When listening to this album, I couldn't help but get a strong Opeth vibe from it. Though this EP is only about 22 minutes long, excluding instrumental tracks, the band manages to fit quite a few style changes, tempo changes, and even have some clean sections. On top of that, there's even quite a bit of melodic sound going on. Perhaps a bit too much, though. But before I dive into that, I want to cover some other things first, like the guitar tone. I understand this band is just starting out, and I think the guitar tone actually shows that. The tone just leaks in a sense. It needs to be tightened up a bit to make it sound more like death metal than sludge metal. Now, the vocals on this EP are actually pretty good. Not perfect, a bit rough around the edges, but definitely solid. Solid growls. Solid growls. There you go. That's a thing now. Now, there are some cleans and whispers used on this as well, and I really don't have any issue with them, so they're fine there. As mentioned before, this is a indie band, so the production isn't great, but it's definitely not bad, and it will probably get better as the band progresses. I would also like to hear more audible bass. I didn't really get any on this EP, but hopefully in the future I'll get some more. Because you can never go wrong with audible bass. I mean, if anything, it just adds that extra oomph to the music. Alright, now we can go back to the composition. So, as mentioned before, this is a progressive and melodic style of death metal, and it definitely shows both of those features. But I'm missing some actual death metal, or at least more actual death metal. I hear this a lot in melodic and progressive death metal bands. The band always focuses more on either being progressive or melodic instead of playing actual death metal. You gotta remember, it's a subgenre of metal. It's not just an influence. It's not called melodic metal with death metal influences. No, it's called melodic death metal. Or, it's not progressive metal with death metal influences. It's progressive death metal. So there actually has to be some actual death metal in there. Otherwise, it's not death metal. It's just an influence, so that doesn't really count, at least to me. Now, I know I'm making it sound like there is no death metal on this EP. There is. There's just isn't that much, and I really hope the band in the future incorporates more of a death metal sound to their work. Now, there is another compositional point I want to make, which is the transitional passages. What I mean by this is when the band goes from metal to clean stuff, acoustic or whatever it is. Now, the band actually does a good job of performing a smooth transition on here. You can tell the transition is coming instead of it just coming out of nowhere, but there seems to be a pause right before it becomes clean. If the band could fill that pause, the transition would probably be the best I've heard from an indie metal band. Now, I know this may sound stupid to mention this small little detail, but I can't tell you how many albums I've heard where a band just throws in an acoustic section out of nowhere, out of left field. I mean, it just goes from death metal, and then literally in a split second, it goes to acoustic. Like, what the fuck? It makes no sense to me. So there has to be a transitional period, which I thought the band did here well. And I really wish other bands would at least try to make a transitional period instead of just throwing it in just because they can. Overall, A Frost and Farewell isn't a bad EP by any means. It has potential, but it definitely needs some work. I'm going to give this EP a 7 out of 10. And that's it for this review. Hopefully you're all having a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and be sure to tell a friend to like and subscribe as well. I just started school again, but I'll keep getting reviews out as often as I can. So I'll see you all in the next review. Bye.